Hey, what's up you guys? I was just sitting here and I was in the mood to film a video because it is a Saturday night, I am bored, I am alone, I have no friends. So I thought, you know what, who can I talk to? I can talk to the camera. So we are going to talk about my 2023 goals. Also, I want to say I do actually have friends. They just don't want to leave their houses ever. So anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about my 2023 goals in this video. I have the same basic goals every single year when it comes to reading, but there's a couple of new ones I think that I want to do for this year, and some things I actually want to not prioritize, which is a little bit different. I've never really spoke about things like that before, but we'll get there. And then I also have a couple personal goals that I'm trying to work on this year. There's nothing too serious, but you know, it's just small things here and there that I think it could be fun to talk about, and then also get your perspective, see if anyone else can relate or if you're doing similar things, because that is always motivating, knowing that you're not in things alone. So yes, I am going to talk about my 2023 goals, and if you enjoy this video, please leave a like. If you're new here, please subscribe, and again, any thoughts, anything at all, say it in the comments down below. I would love to chat, and let's get started talking about my 2023 goals. And how many times so far in this video have I said this year, 2023? Because I feel like I've said it a lot. So the first goal I'm going to talk about is actually a new one for this year, and that is to try and actually read a lot of my collections that I have. So if you have been around for a while, you will know I collect Penguin Classics, Penguin Modern Classics, Virago Modern Classics, and SF Masterworks. And I just accumulate these books. If I see them when I'm out and about, especially in charity shops, I always pretty much pick them up unless they're completely wrecked or already own the one that I've found. But yeah, I just collect these books and I don't actually get around to reading them a lot of the time. Some are better than others. For example, the SF Masterwork, this is one I'm working on right now. This is Philip K. Dick's Valis. This is the FF Masterworks. It's these yellow spines. I actually have a video from 2021, I believe, going through my entire collection of these. And these I haven't actually got that many of since that video, so that's kind of still recent. But yeah, my first goal is to just read all of the SF Masterworks that I currently own. And when it comes to this collection specifically, that is very doable. There's really not that many of them. That's why I've already started with this Valis by Philip K. Dick. I've read all the ones that really jumped into me a lot and I really want to read. So I'm getting to the ones now where I don't actually... It's like I do want to read them, but you know, they're not like a priority for me ever unless I do this type of challenge. Like if I didn't say to myself, okay, you need to finish all these collections, books like this would just sit there forever. So yeah, I want to finish this, and then my Virago Modern Classics, which are these green spines. I actually only have a couple of these I haven't read because the majority of these are, that I own anyway, are Daphne du Maurier books. So, and I love her, she's one of my favourite authors, so I've actually read the majority of them, but there's quite a few. I think there's 2 actually, maybe 3 that I haven't read so far. So I want to read these as well, which is very doable. It's like 2-3 books, you know. And then the more challenging one is my Penguin Modern Classics. I have the teal spines, which I actually do collect, and I have a couple of the older white spines, which I don't purposefully collect, but I just, you know, got some over the years. I don't think I'm going to be able to read all of the ones I have in this, because this is the one that I have bought the most in the last couple of years. I have just picked up so many of them. I've seen deals, like I've been at airports and there's been deals where you can buy like 4 books for like the price of 3 or something, and I picked up like 4 of these just because they're there. So I really need to stop doing that, and really want to just make a dent in it. And this is the next one I'm going to read probably. It's Ada or Ardor by Vladimir Nabokov. And yeah, I've talked about this goal for 3 minutes now, so we'll move on. But yeah, my Penguin Classics, I'm not too bothered about getting to them. There's a lot of them that I just don't even see myself reading at all, ever, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not as so worried about them. But yeah, so let's move on. My other reading goals, same as the last couple of years, I really want to read 12 Scottish authors. It's 1 per month, which is doable. And I almost did it last year. I was so close to doing it until I went travelling. And then when I went travelling, I don't think I read any Scottish authors. But up until that point, I was really on track. I think I'd read like 7 or 8 by August. And then I went away and I just stopped. So that goal failed again, but it's just one that every single year I just want to do, because obviously I am Scottish. There's a lot of great Scottish authors and Scottish books out there, so I just really want to try and prioritise at least 1 a month. And then, like that, For the past couple of years, I've had that I want to read 12 self-published books in the whole year. And again, like 12 books in a year is not that much, but with the self-published, I just find them a lot harder to get to because they're only really ebooks for the most part. And I don't read ebooks that often. I go through phases where I use my Kindle a lot, but that's not right now. Like I haven't even listened to an audiobook in a couple of months now, which is kind of bad because I love audiobooks, but I just haven't been in the mood for that type of reading. I've really been in the mood for just like picking up a book and reading it. I think a realistic goal right now is maybe 6 over the course of the year. That is nothing. Like that is so easy to do. I just need to like remind myself and like make sure I'm doing it because that is the one that always kind of gets away from me. And then the next and kind of final reading goal is almost like an anti-goal, and that is I'm not going to put so much of a focus now on not reading American and English authors. So for the past few years, I've really tried to prioritize authors and books that are from other countries than the US and England. And while I still really want to do that, and I still want to read a lot of authors from different countries and a lot of translated works, because a lot of my favorite books are by authors from other places and translated works, I don't think that's a healthy mindset to read in at all anymore. Like just the way I've thought about all of this, it's just completely changed, especially watching some other people's videos about like their end of 2022 stats and just the way they were discussing like their kind of demographic breakdowns. It kind of, I don't know, it didn't sit right with me. And I feel like now like purposefully excluding authors just because of like where they're from or something, like it's so silly. So for example, like a lot of my Penguin modern classics that I've collected, I want to read them. I bought them because I want to read them, but in the last year or so, I've not been picking them up because in my head I'm like, oh well, that'll ruin my statistics of like my author country breakdown. So I'm like buying these books and I want to read them, but then I'm not reading them because I've made up this like stupid demographic in my head that I want my like end of year stats. So like, and I didn't even do my end of year stats for last year because my kind of perspective on a lot of things has just really changed. And I just don't think that's a healthy way of reading because like it's a personal hobby. Like I am reading books that I want to read because they look interesting to me. I'm not reading to impress other people. So, you know, as much as I still want to read authors from all other countries because I enjoy doing it, the fact that I was buying books I want to read and then not reading them purely because I was like, oh, that'll put like an extra 2% on my like US authors like statistics. Like, I don't know. I just think that's so dumb now and I'm really not about that. So yeah, my goal, I guess, which is related to this, is just to read what I want to read and not worry about like demographics and like breakdowns and stuff because I found that, you know, before I was even worrying about that, like my demographics were working out, you know, kind of like almost half and half male and female. Like all of my favorite authors are female authors, to be honest. And then I'm just naturally drawn towards books from other countries anyway. So purposefully not picking up books by American authors purely because they're American and it'll ruin my pie chart, like that's so dumb to me now. So yeah, I'm really not about that anymore. So basically the whole goal here is just like, don't worry about things like that. Like don't stress. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't affect anyone or anything what I'm reading, to be honest. So yeah, I don't even think that's like a concrete goal, but I hope you kind of get my meaning. And this video is actually getting a little bit longer than I expected, so I will just quickly do my personal goals. One of them that I am actually doing quite good at so far is doing 6,000 steps a day. I had never ever tracked my steps until I went traveling, and I was talking to someone at a hostel when I was in like Sweden, I think it was, and she was saying like, oh, we've done like 15,000 steps a day, and I was like, oh my god, I've never turned it on my phone. So I turned it on, and now I'm a little bit obsessed with it, but in a healthy way, and I don't beat myself up when I don't hit the goal, which I did at first. See, because I was hitting it every single day when I was traveling, the one day I was in Austin, I was staying with Armin, and we'd been out to the club the night before, and the next day we did not walk at all, and that was my first day in like 3 months or something where I hadn't hit the goal, and I was so like devastated. But now I've like not had to quite a lot of times. So yeah, I don't stress about it too much, but I really want to do at least 6,000 steps a day. If I don't do it, it doesn't really matter, but it's just a little personal goal. And then another one that I never ever looked at until about December there was my screen time on my phone. I had just never really paid attention to it. I'd never clicked it. I actually didn't even know where it was in my settings until December, and then I found it. And since then, I've actually become a little bit obsessed with that one. And basically, I'm trying to stick to no more than 4 hours of screen time on my phone a day. And it's so weird because that doesn't seem like hard because you're like 4 hours, like that's a lot of time. but it all just adds up. Like, you check your phone for like 5 minutes, you put it down, you pick it up, like it actually really adds up. And so far I've been doing really good. I think my average for last week was like 4 hours and 13 minutes, which, you know, that is so fine. Plus 2 of those days I was traveling, so my average was way up, because the day I went to Belfast and the day I came home, I was like traveling all day, so I was on my phone more. So I think it would actually be lower than that if those days were like normal days. So we'll find out at the end of this week what this week's average is. But yeah, I've just been trying to limit my phone screen time. And then of course I also have my laptop, which I can't really track. I'm sure there's a way to track it and like download something, but I don't really want to track that. I just feel like, I don't know, there's something about my phone, I'm just like trying to reduce that. And my laptop, I'm not too worried about it, because I don't sit on my laptop the way I used to as much anymore. I kind of take a lot of breaks from my laptop, because when I was traveling, I didn't have it. So I'm not used to sitting staring at my screen as much as I used to be, like in terms of like a big laptop screen. Like I come back now and I can sit on my laptop for like 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, I need to put it down. Whereas before I used to sit on my laptop for like 10 hours a day straight. So I'm doing quite well with screen time in general, I think. But yeah, basically, to summarize, 6,000 steps a day and no more than 4 hours of screen time. And I actually haven't said, so my reading goal for the year, I always put my Goodreads goal as 60 books, and then I always actually try and hit 100. But my Goodreads goal is 60. I think it's going to stay at 60 for this year. My mental goal, like secretly, is always going to be like at least 100 books. But you know, I'm not too bothered this year. I feel like this year, a lot of my priorities have changed. I'm just like not as bothered anymore about a lot of stuff. I just feel a lot more chill, and you know, what happens happens. Also, finally, I forgot to say, I have become a lot more obsessed with films recently. I have always enjoyed going to cinema. Like, I have a cinema unlimited card, and I love doing that. But I never watched films in the house, because to me it felt like a waste of time that I could spend reading. But then I joined Letterboxd, and being able to track movies the same way I was tracking books has made watching films seem more productive to me now. So my little mini goal for that is basically, so I get my money's worth at the cinema card, I want to go to the cinema at least 4 times a month, which I definitely always do. Then for Netflix, which technically I don't even pay for, my parents do, but I want to watch at least 3 films a month on Netflix, just to feel like we're getting our money's worth out of that. Preferably 4 actually, so probably like 4, and then Disney Plus again. I actually use my friend's login, but so we get our money's worth out of it, or she gets her money's worth out of it. I want to watch at least 3 or 4 films from that a month as well. So, you know, just like making sure that things that we're paying for are actually getting used. Because like Spotify, to me, I use every day. Like, that's so worth the money. And then YouTube Premium, oh my god, YouTube Premium has changed my life. I definitely get my money's worth out of that, because I watch YouTube like non-stop. I don't have a TV in my room, I just watch YouTube, really. And then occasionally like films now more. But yeah, I feel like Netflix, for a while I just wasn't using it at all, and then when I was traveling I use it a lot, but now I'm back, I noticed that I'm not using it as much again. But we're paying for it, so might as well get our money's worth. So yeah, those are some little film goals as well, just to end this video off. So I have no idea how long this video is, because I have done multiple takes for some of these things, and I feel like I've been talking for about 3 hours straight. So I am going to go now. I hope this video isn't too long. It feels like it's about 30 minutes long at least. But anyway, yeah, I hope that this was interesting in some shape or form. If you have any similar goals in terms of, you know, like books or steps or screen time or getting your money's worth out of things, anything at all, let me know in the comments down below. Can you relate to any of my goals? Are you, I don't know, the opposite to me? I don't know. Let me know any thoughts down below. Please leave a like, and if you're new, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.